or Dixon, Vacaville, the kind of like surrounding areas, because you can usually find something a little bit cheaper if you're willing to commute. But that's not an option for everybody.
I also live off campus and it is significantly cheaper. And sometimes an even better deal than the green. No tea, no shade. I know people are gonna fight me on this, but I've heard a lot of people really prefer off campus. I think the only drawback, at least for myself, because I stayed in SoCal during the pandemic the first year, was like Sasha said, there's a lot of people who live in off campus housing that are not like students. So I definitely didn't really build like a student community living off campus. So if you're a first year looking to save some money, maybe also consider what some of those drawbacks are though. Um, I also think off-campus housing builds character. So I didn't come to Davis knowing how to cook, and so being thrown into off-campus really pushed me to learn how to cook and not give people food poisoning in my house. And so yeah, I can call myself a chef now, I guess. So if that's what you're looking for, I think office campus housing was a really good challenge for me, and like really helped me like be able to like develop myself better. But yeah.
All right. Now we're going to jump to the next set of questions, which is about how you get around campus. Like, do you walk, bike, you take a bus, and how important is it to get a bike? That's a very popular question. So.
Well, I've been bikeless this whole year. Mainly because I didn't want to have the cost of a bike. Also, like, just so you know, bike theft is a very common thing in Davis. It really comes down to you just knowing how to lock your bike and where is safe to lock your bike. So if you have never had a bike before and worried about locking it in a really safe, secure area, that's something that you need to think about and really kind of figure out if that works for where you're going to live. But I drive occasionally to campus. It's $3 a day for on-campus parking. Or you can do the metered parking, which I think you can only stay on camp or in that spot then for 70 minutes. So that doesn't generally work with a normal class. It's more if you just need to run on campus for something. Parking is pretty terrible the first like 5 weeks of school. You won't be able to get anything. And then after midterms, everybody stops going to their classes and it's really easy to get parking. So Unitrans is really easy. Right now, they're not at their full schedule. Hopefully next year they will be. It's just kind of hiring more bus drivers. But the one by my house comes once an hour. It's free for students as long as you have your student ID card. You just flash it at them as you hop on the bus, and it goes through downtown. You can take it out to Target. You can go to the Green. It goes a lot of different places, so it's really convenient. You can also ride Yellow Bus for free, and so that can take you from Woodland all the way out to Sacramento. So that's a really great thing to do. Also, if you're going to get a bike and you're not used to riding a bike, take the summer to learn, because Davis actually does have laws regarding bikes. So bikes are considered to be just like a vehicle. You're supposed to ride in the lane with cars or in the bike lane. You're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk. You have to stop at stoplights. Like, there's a whole list of things. You need to have bike lights, all that kind of stuff. And if you're really not comfortable with bikes, don't do it, because you might get into some pretty gnarly crashes, especially on the bike circles. But if you want a great way to exercise, bikes are, a good thing. And campus is huge. So if you have classes that are across campus, it's a good way to get around. For me, being poli-sci, all of my classes are kind of located in one central area. So I just haven't needed to do that.
I think people say try not to bike in the first week of classes. It's where everybody kind of starts biking, and there's some gnarly crashes then. So if you are going to bike, wait at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think on top of the biking question, I primarily walk around and use the bus. I'm too far from home to need a car, and then I also work on campus, so I haven't had to like really need a car. And I don't know, I was just trying to save money. Someone coming from SoCal, in SoCal, you bike with the pedestrians, like Sasha mentioned, which is not true in NorCal, or at least in Davis. So when I first did it, I was really confused, and like you could get like tickets and stuff. So don't if you're not comfortable, don't do it. I think the bus lines are pretty reliable. If you want to get out of town, I've used Amtrak. Fun fact, round trip to Sac and back is $18 on Amtrak. So pretty inexpensive. Amtrak is, yeah, it is the love of my life. And every time I say it, people think I'm weird. We also have a Berkeley bus from Davis to Berkeley that's only $15 a trip. So that's like a partnership we have, and it's only for students. So if you really like want to go to Berkeley Social Club, to campus, go to downtown for like a weekend, you can do that. So that's how I've been able to like get out of Davis when I really want to get out of Cowtown. And yeah.
All right. We're going to jump into questions about research because we have several people from Transfer Research Society here with us today. So if you want to join a lab in the fall and you're transferring in right now, when should you email the professor, and how should you email the professor? And also, is research paid?
Yeah, well, great question. I would say, again, every year there's a bunch of transfers who are interested in doing research in the fall, right? I think it doesn't hurt to email the professor. So it depends on when you're going to be on campus. Some people get on campus pretty early. Some people are there over the summer. It doesn't hurt to email professors then if you have the time. Or, early starting fall quarter, it doesn't hurt to send out emails. I think if you're really interested in a specific topic and you know that you're probably not going to share that many classes early on with professors who do research in that specific topic, I highly recommend cold emailing them. Cold emailing, is basically, you send an email, tell them who you are, your transfer, you're interested in their work, mention some of their papers, and like attach your resume or something, and mention your availability. Again, it's got a low hit rate, right? Like you do have to send a lot to get a couple responses, but it is worth it. And that is probably the best way you can do research in a specific area. There are also research programs at Davis. I think if you go to the Undergraduate Research Center right now, you can look up some of them. I'm not sure when their deadlines are, but they usually have rolling admissions as well. So you can always talk to some of the people in charge of those programs, tell them your situation. They're pretty helpful as well.
All right. Do any of the Transfer Research Society transfer peer advisors have anything to add?
I couldn't wait to answer this question. So the proudest thing ever that I've ever done was in which all of you can do too, is around this time last year, when I was still a community college student. I knew I was going to go to Davis, so I looked at every single psychology lab on campus and off campus that was affiliated with UC Davis. And I emailed basically every single professor that had a lab. Do I recommend that you do every single professor? Maybe not, but I would at least start with the ones that seem interesting to you. I think Siddharth had a really, really good point about cold emailing. It actually could really help. I would say that the two labs that I got into, which I started that summer before I transferred, they, I feel like they got really interested, mostly because I contacted them so early, and usually professors that see you contact so early, that shows that you're really interested and you just want to get on board. So I would, if you know that you want to go into research, I would really, really take advantage of reaching out, as early as now.
Also, if I could add really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're planning to go to the transfer orientation and meet with your transfer advisor, there are going to be professors there who do research. And that's how I actually got my research position. I met my PI there. I told her about my research experience and that I was interested in joining her lab. And then she said, great, come to group meetings I did that for a whole quarter, and then in the winter, I started working in organic chemistry.
All right, so this next question is for re-entry students. So Sasha, this is for you. What's the campus culture like for older students?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I get asked a lot by people, like, do you hate being on campus because everybody's young? And I'm like, I haven't had a bad experience, but I like pretty much all my friends are transfer students, regardless of like their age. And I've just found transfer students to be significantly more mature because typically they're more likely to have had jobs or other like life experiences that have made them be more mature, which is a nice thing. So I've definitely made a lot of my friends in the transfer community, and I don't have a problem with that. I definitely don't ever feel like it's a problem being an older student or anything like that. I'm also like not somebody who looks significantly older than the typical college population. So that might be different for somebody who is maybe in their 50s or older. But everyone's really nice. I definitely don't understand the TikTok lingo, but I'm also not interested in learning, TBH. So that's just my life. Like having conversations with people and they're like reference something like fully don't understand, but I can, from context clues, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I have friends who are young, under 21, and it's not a problem. We can have a full, mature conversation, and yeah, it's great.
I would also say for older students, there is a club called the Older and Wiser Club that is for older transfers. And if you're looking for a sense of community, I think that's a really good club to at least check out when you enter.
All right, thank you, Sasha and Sudhir, for answering that question. We had a couple of questions about the honors program. So Juliana and Lynette are part of the honors program. So could you talk about how it works and just how you can join, things like that?
So, first off, those of you who have been already invited to the honors program, congratulations. And I think completing the honors program as a transfer student is a lot easier than if you were to come to UC Davis, for example, as a first year. So, yeah, the honors program as a transfer student, it's relatively straightforward. It asks you to do, and Juliana, correct me if I'm not wrong, like volunteer service and some like a seminar class your first quarter. And then your second quarter, they ask you to do some kind of project or a thesis, which they would explain more in depth, but that's basically the TLDR of being in the honors program.
Yeah, I think it's also invitation based, but no worries if you're not in it. It's not the end of the world. I've seen plenty of people super successful in other avenues of like academicness. So I would recommend to like at least something that honors programs taught me is that like there's a thesis built into a lot of majors on campus. So if you meet a certain GPA requirement and you're looking to do like research, or you think like you're looking to do graduate school and you're considering, a thesis is a really good segue to do that. So like you don't need to be in the honors program to do a thesis at all. Like you just have to have a certain GPA, and this is where all the cold emailing comes in handy, like really emailing professors you think would be good like thesis advisors, so they would help support you in your research. And there's also a variety of like research programs at the URC. Like the program I did that helped me like really get into research was the mentor-mentee program in Parks. Don't remember what it stands for. Moment you were in that program, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like MMP Harks. It's a mentor-mentee program in humanities, arts, and social science, I believe. Yeah.
And that helped me out a lot. And then there's also like McNair's. So there's a lot. There's so many opportunities. Like if you don't get the honors program, it's not that big of a deal. But if you do get the honors program and you need some help, feel free to contact us.
Yes, and if you didn't get an invitation right away, I believe you